Oh, you didn't hear about the Bahamas getaway? My sister Sarah's voice oozed with feigned sympathy over the phone. I assumed Mom told you. We're all going next month. Mom, Dad, me, and Brian. But someone's got to look after their pets while we're away. Mom said she'd ask you. I stood in my kitchen, clutching my coffee mug so tightly I thought it might shatter. My name is Lisa, and at 27, I just learned my whole family planned a tropical escape without inviting me. What stung more was finding out by chance during what was meant to be a casual chat with Sarah about Mom's upcoming birthday. No, Sarah, Mom hasn't mentioned the Bahamas, I replied, struggling to keep my tone calm, or anything about pet sitting. You know how Mom is, Sarah chuckled. She probably forgot. But you're free, right? You can watch Rocky and Max for the week. Mom's counting on you since you're not coming. Not coming because they hadn't invited me. I realized all those family dinners where they must have plotted this trip, sidestepping the topic around me, made sense now. The hushed conversations that stopped when I walked in, Mom's casual questions about my work schedule, Dad's sudden curiosity about my dating life, likely hoping I'd be busy enough not to interfere with their pet-sitting needs, clicked into place. That evening, Mom called. Sweetie, I've been meaning to ask you for a favor. Let me guess. I cut in, bitterness seeping through. You need me to watch the dogs while you're in the Bahamas. Oh, Sarah told you, she said brightly. It'd be such a help. Rocky gets nervous at the kennel, and Max needs his meds twice a day. We'll only be gone 8 days. I listened as she prattled on about flight schedules and resort perks, never mentioning they'd left me out of the family vacation. Not even a hollow wish you could join, or maybe next time. She detailed Rocky's special diet and Max's medication routine, as if those would soften the fact they'd planned a family trip without me. So you'll do it? She asked cheerfully. Your dad already cancelled the kennel, and Sarah's thrilled about this charming resort with great snorkeling. You know how she loves the ocean. Of course they had. My family always operated this way, making decisions that impacted me without bothering to ask. To them, I was dependable Lisa, the responsible one who never objected, never refused, never disrupted their plans with her own needs or wants. I'll think about it, I said softly, already opening my laptop to a travel site. This pattern began years ago when Sarah got into NYU. My parents threw a lavish party, custom banners, catered food, all their friends celebrating their youngest daughter's success. When I was accepted to Boston University a year earlier, with a full scholarship, they merely said, "That's nice, dear." My acceptance letter sat on the fridge for 2 days before Sarah's dance recital schedule replaced it. Sarah was always the family's golden child. Fun, beautiful, untouchable. Even when she dropped out of NYU after 2 years to find herself in Europe, my parents funded her adventure with monthly allowances for her self-discovery. Meanwhile, I worked 3 jobs through college, graduated summa cum laude, and built a thriving marketing career, earning me the honor of being the family's go-to backup plan. That night, after Mom's call, I browsed travel websites. Santorini, a Greek island I dreamed of visiting since my college photography class, caught my eye. The dates aligned perfectly with their Bahamas trip, and there was a seat sale. My cursor lingered over the Book Now button as Sarah texted. Mom says you're being weird about the dogs. Don't be difficult, Lisa. It's not like you have vacation days saved up. What would you even do with time off? You never go anywhere fun. I had 3 weeks of vacation saved. They just assumed I didn't because I never went anywhere exciting. They'd forgotten my travel blog, which had gained a solid following over 2 years. Another thing they dismissed as Lisa's little hobby, like my photography in college or writing in high school. Dad called next. Princess, your mom's upset. You know how Rocky gets at the kennel. He barely ate last time. Did it ever occur to any of you to invite me on the trip? I asked. The silence was revealing. Well, he faltered, Sarah said you probably couldn't get time off, and your mom loves planning these things. Plus, Brian already paid the deposit for their room. Right, I said flatly, just like Mom planned my college graduation party. Oh wait, she didn't because Sarah's semester abroad came up, and you all flew to Paris instead. That's unfair, Lisa. Your sister needed support for her self-discovery journey. I stared at the Santorini image on my screen, something clicking inside me. Years of being the reliable one, the one they counted on to sacrifice her plans, came into sharp focus. I'll let you know about the dogs tomorrow, I said, then hung up and clicked book now for Greece. The next morning, my phone was flooded with messages. Mom sent 6 texts, from guilt trips to demands. Sarah left 3 voicemails, each more patronizing than the last. Even Dad, usually above family drama, emailed a long explanation of why I was being unreasonable. I waited until our weekly family dinner to drop the news. As usual, they were at my parents' house, chatting about their Bahamas plans. I cut in during a lull. I've made other plans for those dates. You'll need to find someone else for Rocky and Max. Mom's fork clattered. What do you mean, other plans? What's more important than helping your family? My trip to Greece, I said, sipping water and watching their faces shift from confusion to shock. Greece. Sarah scoffed. You're not going to Greece. I showed them my confirmed itinerary on my phone. Actually, I am. 8 days in Santorini, starting the same day you leave for the Bahamas. But you can't, Mom stammered. The dogs. The kennel's booked. Sounds like you didn't plan well, I replied calmly. Maybe Brian, Sarah's boyfriend, can watch them since he's family enough for the Bahamas. That's different, Sarah snapped. Brian's my partner, and he's allergic to dogs. How convenient, I said, gathering my things. I'm sure you'll figure it out. You always do when it matters to you. Lisa, sit down, Dad ordered. You're being immature. This isn't you. That's the issue, isn't it? You've all decided who I'm supposed to be. Reliable Lisa, always available Lisa. Did you ever think I might want to join family vacations, that I have my own life? The table went silent. Mom looked near tears, Sarah's mouth hung open, and Dad stared at his plate, avoiding my gaze. I have to go, I said, heading for the door. I need swimsuits. Santorini has incredible beaches. The fallout was predictable. Mom launched a guilt campaign, rallying relatives. Aunt Carol called me selfish, Cousin Rachel sent texts about family loyalty, and Grandma seemed confused about why I couldn't pet sit from Greece. Sarah showed up at my apartment unannounced. You're doing this to spite us, she said, barging in. This isn't you, Lisa. You're the responsible one. You mean the convenient one, I countered. The one who drops everything when you need something. That's not fair. We appreciate you. When was the last time you showed it? When did you include me in family plans instead of expecting me to fill gaps? Sarah flopped onto my couch, her perfect blonde hair falling just right even in frustration. We didn't think you'd want to come. You're always busy with work. Did you ask if I wanted to join my family on vacation? Well, no, but... Exactly. You assumed, got comfortable taking me for granted, and didn't even hide your Bahamas plans. That's how little you thought of me. Sarah's face reddened. Mom and Dad are upset. They might cancel if they can't find a pet sitter. That's their problem, I said, echoing her phrase. When did you get so cold? I'm not cold. I'm done being the family doormat. I showed her my travel blog. See this? I have followers who care about my interests, a life beyond being your backup. Sarah scrolled through, her expression shifting from dismissal to surprise. These photos are amazing. When did you get into photography? 3 years ago. Not that anyone noticed. The next family dinner was tense. Mom had laid out pet supplies like a guilt display. Rocky's food, Max's meds, their toys, shooting me pointed looks. The meds must be given 12 hours apart, she stressed, waving Max's pill bottle. Rocky needs his blanket at bedtime, or he gets anxious. The kennel won't get it right. I'm sure they will, I said, taking more potatoes. That's their job. Dad cleared his throat. Princess, we could pay you to watch them. Make it worth your time. My Greece tickets were $3,000, Dad. Non-refundable. Sarah, quiet since visiting my apartment, spoke up. I saw Lisa's travel blog. Did you know she has over 20,000 followers? Mom barely looked up from the pet supplies. That's nice, dear. Now about the dogs. No, Mom, I'm serious, Sarah insisted, showing my blog. Look at her Montreal photos from last year. She's really talented. For the first time that night, Mom looked at me. Not past me, but at me. You went to Montreal? I've been to lots of places, I said. I take short trips when I can, write about them, photograph them. People follow my hotel and restaurant recommendations. Dad peered at Sarah's phone. These are professional grade, Lisa. Why didn't you tell us? I did, 3 Thanksgivings ago. You all switched to Sarah's yoga certification. The silence was heavy with realization. Mom sat down, still holding Rocky's tennis ball. We haven't been good at listening, have we? No, I said plainly. You haven't. But we still need someone for the dogs, she added quickly, and the moment vanished. I stood. I'm going to Greece, Mom, with or without your approval. Maybe it's time you felt what it's like when your plans are disrupted. As my departure neared, my family cycled through grief stages. Mom moved from denial to anger, calling me ungrateful. Dad tried bargaining, offering to fund a different Greece trip when it's convenient. Sarah wavered between whining, "You're ruining everything," and acceptance. "Maybe we should have invited you." 2 days before my flight, Mom made a final plea, arriving with photo albums of me caring for Sarah's dog in Europe, our childhood pets, always the responsible one. "You've always been great with animals," she said, flipping through. "Remember nursing Sarah's hamster in high school?" "I also remember missing my friend's sweet 16 for it while Sarah was at the beach," I replied. "That's different. You didn't mind then." "No, Mom, I did. I just wasn't allowed to say so." She snapped the album shut. "I hope you're happy. We had to cancel our trip. The kennel's full, and no one else can take the dogs." I stayed silent, then turned my laptop to show a message from Mrs. Chen, my building's pet-friendly neighbor, confirming she'd watch Rocky and Max for a fee. "I found a solution," I said. "Mrs. Chen's retired, loves dogs, and lives 2 floors down. She'll do it for the kennel's rate." Mom stared at the screen. "Why didn't you tell us sooner?" "Because I wanted you to feel what it's like not to have me as your backup, to understand how it feels when someone disrupts your plans without considering you." "That's petty, isn't it?" "No, Mom, it's human. Maybe next time you plan a family vacation, you'll remember this and include your other daughter." The morning of my flight, I woke to notifications. Mom had tagged me in a social media post, a first, using a Montreal photo from my blog, with a caption about her talented daughter and excitement for my Greece photos. Sarah texted, "Mom's saving face for her country club friends, saying she helped plan your trip." I wasn't shocked. Image was everything to Mom. She'd likely realized my blog was bragworthy at her tennis club, but it didn't erase years of dismissal. Dad stopped by before I left for the airport, awkwardly holding a new camera lens. "Sarah showed me your blog," he said, offering it. "I saw you wanted this for low-light shots. Thought it might help in Greece." It was the exact lens I'd been saving for. Part of me wanted to reject it, to prove I didn't need their late support, but his eyes held genuine interest in my passion. "Thanks, Dad," I said, taking it. "Want to see the shots I plan to get?" He sat with me for an hour, listening as I explained composition and lighting. He followed my blog on his phone right there. "You know," he said, leaving, "I cancelled my Bahamas trip. Told your mom and Sarah to go without me. Someone's got to watch the dogs properly, and Mrs. Chen might need help." He paused. "Plus, I want to see your Greece photos. Maybe teach me how to comment on a blog." As I boarded my flight, my phone buzzed. Sarah sent a sincere, "Have a great trip, sis. Your pics better be epic." Mom texted instructions for their home security cameras to check on the dogs, missing the point but at least not guilting me. Dad's message brought tears. Posted my first blog comment. "Hope I did it right. Take care in Greece, not just your camera. Love, Dad." I settled in, realizing sometimes a bold move shakes people out of old habits. My family had cast me as the reliable sidekick in their story. Maybe now they'd see me in my own spotlight. Santorini was a dream. Stunning sunrises over blue-domed churches, days photographing cobblestone streets and pristine beaches. My blog followers loved the updates, but my family's comments surprised me most. Dad commented on every post, evolving from "nice sunset, honey," to thoughtful notes on lighting. Sarah shared my posts, tagging me with, "Look what my amazing sister's doing," a shift from her usual rivalry. Mom, however, called daily with dog updates, as if reminding me what I'd left behind. "Rocky misses you," she'd say, or "Max won't eat unless your dad hand feeds him." When guilt didn't work, she critiqued my photos. "Too many sunsets. That restaurant review seemed harsh. Don't hurt their business." One evening at a cliffside cafe, Mrs. Chen called, amused. "Your mom's been here 6 times today, bringing coffee, asking about my pet sitting. She can't let go of control." "I'm so sorry," I began, but she laughed. "Don't be. After 40 years teaching high school, 2 dogs are easy." She didn't like that. That night, Dad messaged, "Your mom booked a hotel for the rest of their Bahamas trip. Says she can't relax with strangers watching her dogs. Sarah's upset." I felt a brief pang of guilt but recalled all the times my needs were dismissed for family harmony. Mom's choice to ruin her trip wasn't my burden. Instead of cutting my trip short, I posted more photos, writing about solo travel, breaking free from family expectations, and forging my own path. The response was huge. Hundreds of comments from people sharing similar stories, thanking me for inspiring them. My blogs following doubled, then tripled. A travel magazine wanted to feature my Greece photos. Sarah called. Her yoga students followed my journey, asking for a photography workshop at her studio. "I thought I was the brave one, going to Europe to find myself," she said. "But you did it, right under our noses, and we were too caught up to notice." On my last night in Greece, on my hotel balcony, Mom sent a surprising message. A photo of my old bedroom, now her office, with framed prints of my travel photography. "I had your best shots framed," she wrote. "They deserve better than my social media reposts." Below was a longer note. "I've been thinking while you were gone. Your dad said we've taken you for granted, forgetting your dreams. I'm not great at apologies, but I'm trying to show I care." Mrs. Chen's daily dog photos showed Rocky and Max thriving, the last one with Dad teaching Mom to use my blog, both smiling as the dogs lounged nearby. Sarah's final Bahamas photos were different. No staged shots, just trying to see through your photographer's eyes. Not as good as yours, but I'm learning to look deeper. Something had shifted in those 8 days. My family wasn't perfect. Mom still sent dog texts, Dad struggled with tech, Sarah had jealous moments, but they were trying. Sometimes that's enough, not a total change, but a willingness to see you anew. 6 months later, at Thanksgiving, my photos hung alongside family portraits. Mom made place cards with my blog's logo, a small but meaningful gesture. "We have an announcement," Mom said during dinner. "We're planning another family vacation." I braced for exclusion, but Sarah cut in. "Before you say anything, we want you to help plan it. Your Greece posts were a hit, so maybe you can work your magic on our next trip." Dad pulled out a folder. "I've researched photography tours in Italy. Maybe you can teach us to take better pictures than selfies and dog photos." "Plus," Mom added, trying to sound casual, "Mrs. Chen's agreed to watch Rocky and Max. I asked her months ago, just in case." I looked at them, Mom, still controlling but redirecting it. Dad, connecting through photography. Sarah, seeing me as a person, not a rival. Italy sounds great, I said, pulling out my phone with ideas. But I'm handling the itinerary. Wouldn't have it any other way, Dad smiled. You're the expert now.